We have 7 writers.
Kind of will try to do anything and everything before we get to the writing and before we get to the breaking.
There's a lot of rehabilitative therapy going on. There's a lot of popsicle sticks in different colors.
Tom Schnauz is great at making things with clay, and we have pipe cleaners and things like that.
More Wally Beckett does wonderful crafts projects, usually related to dogs or cats, made out of pipe cleaners. The charitable way to look at this would be that it frees up the subconscious. Sometimes your hands need to be occupied when your brain is chugging away, trying to come up with the things that it needs in this job to come up with. What we do all day long, and what I spend most of my time doing, is breaking story with my 6 writers.
Breaking an episode is when we go through the episode moment by moment and figure out exactly what's going to happen, all the major plot points, how each act begins and ends.
The episodes are broken up in terms of teaser, and that's the opening sequence that you see before the title, and then Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and Act 4. You want all the acts, in fact, to end with a reason to keep watching, a bit of a cliffhanger, some mystery, some turn of the plot, and we sit around in this room staring at a 3-by-5-foot corkboard that starts off empty.
Pitching to Vince is always fun because he is very polite.
We call it a safe room, and hopefully there's no judgments. You could say the dumbest thing ever, and hopefully not be torn down too much.
What you want is Vince to say, I like that. I like that. Okay, and you build on it. What you don't want is Vince to go,
That's interesting.
That's the kiss of death. That's Vince, like, trying to be nice.
I'd like to think that I could have been a diplomat. I could have been in the State Department, perhaps.
I think one of the tricks of it is not to get so attached to some idea that you love, that you're going to champion.
Sometimes you swing and you miss, and sometimes you hit, and it's a beauty.
Vince writes every card, and it's this insanely neat handwriting that looks like it's written by a psychopath. Each individual index card, one after the other, plans our story.
We break in excruciating detail every beat of every scene, of every act, of every episode.
After 2 or 3 weeks of very laborious work, our 3-by-5-foot corkboard eventually becomes filled with 3-by-5-inch index cards, each of which has a plot point or a bit of a scene.
And once we get to the end of the 4th act and all the cards are written, the writer's given this Xerox of all these index cards, and we go off and we write the episode.
A writer typically has about 2 weeks to write an episode of Breaking Bad.
Season 5 is all about having won, and Walt assuming the crown.
I won.
This is Walt who has climbed Mount Everest, Walt who has killed Gus, and Walt is really full of himself. Walt really feels in his heart that no matter what he does, it's going to work out.
Season 5 was really about Walt's ascendance. His problems are not external, it's the problems of success and the problems he has with his partners, which are Jesse and Mike.
So, do we take a vote? Why?
Vince Gilligan walked in with the first day and said, wouldn't it be cool, wouldn't it be a great idea to cook inside tented houses?
I mean, when that pitch came up in the room, I started to think, have we really got off the deep end here? Are we really going to have Walt cooking in people's houses?
We started working on it. We kept on saying, no, this is impossible. How is this going to work? And then we really tried to approach it the way Walt would and tried to figure out how could this idea work?
It was just so disturbing that we were like, okay, we have to do this.
Lydia is an interesting character. We felt a need for this character, story-wise. We wanted to examine the sort of white-collar criminal side of things.
This is a heads up, you got visitors.
Visitors, what? You mean today?
Laura Fraser added so much to the character, her little pet peeves. She became a very fun character to write.
It's Road Art Quail.
It was also fun, too, to have Hank come into her world, but we were not at all in his head. We're solely with her. I thought that was fun to write.
Skylar in season 5 gets to do all these interesting things with how she's reacting to Walt now, because at the end of season 4, she realized truly how dark Walt is.
How are you?
Their dynamic that I love is she still surprises him. He doesn't understand how she can't get that he's just doing this for her and for the family. My absolute favorite moment to write and buy out was the dinner scene with Skylar, Walt, and Jesse.
These are great green beans, Mrs. White.
They are from the deli at Albertsons.
Oh.
It was the first time we've seen Jesse and Skylar together since season 1, which is something we've been wanting to do ever since then, and I was lucky enough to get that episode. It was probably one of my favorite scenes of all time, writing for the show.
One of my very favorite moments of season 5 thus far was Mike's death.
That was highly debated. We had a lot of argument about that and a lot of concern about that.
We all love the character Mike and love to write to him, so there was also this feeling like we don't want to lose this character that we love to write, and you know everyone loves Jonathan, and consensus came to be that it really felt like that Mike needed to go.
Our master plan was we wanted the last 2 minutes of the finale of that season to have the audience saying, "What the hell? Nothing's happening."
Maybe I should brew up a batch. What do you think?
Ooh, Schrader bro?
Yeah.
I vote yes.
I second that.
No. Well, there you go. It's unanimous. All right.
And we did that on purpose, you know, because we're evil.
Do you want anything? You want anything?
No, I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
And then we wanted to drop that bomb.
To WW, my star, my perfect silence.